everyone. We are driving over to a friend's house to help him jumpstart his car. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Even though I took auto shop, I'm not entirely sure how to jumpstart a car. Like, I know, so if you put both things on the battery, you get a lot of sparks. I've done that. So you, like, there's one of them that you put on the battery post and one of them that you put on the car, like on the frame or something. But I don't know if it's the red one or the black one. And so I'm hoping my friend has a better handle on the jump starting situation. Because honestly, I wouldn't jump start my own car. I would call roadside assistance. Anyway, you might notice I've got a bit of a Band-Aid here. This is my first, no, actually it's not my first. This is my second injury during isolation. The first one was I stubbed my toe pretty badly earlier this week, and I have a pretty big blood blister on my bottom of my toe. But this is a result of forgetting how to shave. I only shave now every other day or every few days. You saw my last video. I let that go for 3 or 4 days. And apparently I've become rusty at shaving. And so this morning, I shave in the shower, and there's no mirror in there. I don't know why I do it that way. But anyway, I just lather up my face and I just shave. And usually I can feel along, except for yesterday. Joy said, actually for the last 2 days, that I've missed very long here. But I made sure this morning that I got that well. But I don't know what was happening this morning. I just went up too high and I nicked it, and I ended up cutting my face. So this is a
COVID war wound.
Yeah, so it's significant. I'm hoping that I don't bleed out or anything. You can see the blood through the Band-Aid. Anyway, it's hard to get sympathy out of her. Little update on the car situation with the dead battery. We went over, we jump started it. My friend looked after where you put the cables, and I just had to rev the car up and his car started. So he's off to the races. As long as he goes out and starts his car every 2 or 3 days, he should be fine. And then the next task was to find a Starbucks that was open. Not open, the drive-thru was open. For whatever reason, they've closed half or more of the Starbucks in our city. So there's one road on one side of town that has a bunch of Starbucks, and they're all open. So we went, waited in the drive-thru with 15 other people, and we got a coffee. And then we pulled out of the parking lot and into the Tim Hortons parking lot to buy lunch. I will eat Tim Hortons food. It's adequate. If you're stuck and you need something to eat, it's very cheap. And so we had a couple of bagels and some Timbits from Tim Hortons, but I will not drink their coffee. So we will often go to Starbucks, get our coffee, then go through the Tim Hortons drive-thru if we want a bagel or something. That's what we did. Joy hates it when I clear my throat.
I end up cutting most of them out. It's awful.
I have a chronic condition.
Please.
I don't know what it's called. So this weekend we are supposed to be in British Columbia. We're not. We are in London, Ontario. Currently stationed by one of my most favorite places here in London, the airport. I'm a geek. I enjoy coming here and watching planes take off and land. I love travel. I love everything to do with travel. I love airplanes. I love ships. I love cars. Never been on a train. Been on a subway, no train. So I thought it might be fun to do a little bit of a series. Now, Joy says this shouldn't be a series, but I'm going to call this a series on budget travel. Originally, we'd like to just make it a series about travel, but it really needs to be about budget travel because every trip we've ever taken would be considered budget travel because we don't pay full price for anything to do with travel. The way we travel may not be the way you travel. We've managed to do a fair bit of traveling without spending a tremendous amount of money. And that takes some sacrifice and having to make the best of a bad situation.
And staying in really dumpy hotels.
So we're over the next, like, I think there's something like, we've listed them out. There might be 12 or 15 trips, maybe, that we've taken to different places. So we'll go through them all. But the first one I wanted to talk about, it's the one that's sort of nearest and dearest to my heart. And that is the one that we took on May 24th, 2003, the day we got married, our honeymoon. It was quite a fancy honeymoon. Joy can't even hold a straight face. I was doing the best that I could. You're dealing with like a guy who had like 50 cents to his name. So here's how it went. Leading up to the wedding, I was trying to figure out what are we going to do for our honeymoon, and we knew people that were going to like Dominican Republic and Cuba and Mexico. Like, we couldn't even afford to go to Sarnia.
We got married in Sarnia.
And we couldn't afford to do anything. But my dad was gracious enough to say, you know, about a couple of months before the wedding, you know, what's happening for the honeymoon? And I said, well, currently have nothing. And this is back in the days of newspapers. So my dad had opened up the London Free Press travel section, and there was this little square text ad that said Niagara Falls, 2 nights in a hotel, 2 breakfasts, and 2 dinners for $200. So he showed that to me, and I thought, that is a great deal. I could just book 2 of these back to back. $400, all in. So that's what I did. I called them up, because this is like, there's no internet booking back then. I called them up. I booked 2 back-to-back packages at the Best Western Fireside Inn in Niagara Falls. It wasn't actually in Niagara Falls. It was down the river a bit. And since that time has been transformed into a nursing home, it's a classy place. So as I was editing the video, I realized I left out one important little feature of our package stay in Niagara Falls, and that was that it wasn't available for a Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday night stay. So we just needed to find somewhere else to go for Saturday night and Sunday night, and then we could go on to Niagara Falls after that. So what we ended up doing was booking 2 nights at a Hilton here in London, Ontario, an hour away from Sarnia, and that's where we spent the first 2 nights of our budget honeymoon, and then we went on to Niagara Falls after that. So let me tell you a little bit something about the room that came with the package at the Best Western Fireside. It had a heart-shaped tub in the corner of the room. It was a lovely room. The first night we stayed in this hotel, so 3rd night of our honeymoon. In the middle of the night, I guess I was feeling warm. It felt kind of stuffy in there. I got up in the middle of the night, and I was standing in the heart-shaped tub, and I was pushing on the window.
No.
Or the mirror.
There was mirror.
Well, it was mirror.
It was classy. Mirror surrounding the heart-shaped tub.
Yeah.
And he got out of bed and was like prying at the mirrors, the edge of the mirrors, to try and open the window.
I was hot. I needed a little bit of a breeze.
And so I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I can't get the windows to open." And I said, "Well, just come back to bed."
Yeah, and that was it. Like, literally, I just said, "Oh, okay." And I just went back to bed.
But he was sleepwalking. He doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah, I don't remember any of it.
And I thought, what have I gotten myself into?
Yep. But it all worked out. Here we are. We're like 17 years almost now.
Yeah, and you must have been stressed out because you've never sleptwalked.
Well, I was stressed out. I had a bed all to myself for 23 years, 24, and now all of a sudden, somebody else is in it.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But it gets a little bit better than that because, if you've never been to Niagara Falls, it is like the most expensive place on the planet to eat or do anything. Everything costs money. And that was the one thing we were lacking, was money. So after our first 2 nights there, we realized we can't stay here because we can't afford to do anything. So I went down to the front desk and I asked them if they would give me a refund on the other 2-night package. And I think my dad had put it on his credit card at the time, and I convinced them just to pay me back cash. And so we took our $200, which probably gave me a net worth of $250, and we headed to Toronto. And we booked a night in a hotel in Toronto. It was a Comfort Inn, and it was in a not a great part of town. We had to walk over to this convenience store to buy some snacks in the evening, and it was rough. But anyway, that was our honeymoon. Our honeymoon experience was all right. Anyway, it all worked out. 2003 was a big year for us, though. Not only did we go to Niagara Falls, we went to Toronto again. Now, this was during the blackout of 2003, if you remember. There was a blackout, and it happened on I can't remember if it was a Wednesday or Thursday. And we had booked a night at a hotel in Toronto just to go for the weekend, just to see the sights of Toronto. Toronto's only about 2 hours from us, well, about 3 hours from where we lived at the time. So the power started to come back on, and we weren't really sure if the hotel was going to be open still. So I called the reservation 1-800 number, and I got this young lady with a southern accent. And I said to her, I asked about the blackout, and I said, well, is there hydro at the hotel? I had no idea that not everybody knows what hydro is, because here in Ontario, a lot of our power is generated from water through Ontario Hydro at the time. And so we call it hydro, but a lot of other people call it electricity or power. We call it hydro. So I asked, I said, does the hotel have hydro? And she said, what are you talking about? Hydro, and she had no idea. And I said, electricity, power. And then it clicked in. So that's when I learned that not everybody knows what hydro is. So our budget honeymoon and our budget trip to Toronto, that gave us a bit of a travel bug. And from then on, we were sort of hooked on not just travel, but trying to figure out how to travel as cheap as possible. And over the years, we've made some sacrifices in order to get to where we needed to go or wanted to go, or actually didn't want to go. One real quick tip about budget travel. Sort by price. That is the most important field when you're looking for anything travel related. I don't care where you want to go or what you want to do. You just want to find up in the top right corner that sort by price, lowest to highest. That has been our friend for a long time. I don't look for highest reviews or best rated or featured. I look for low to high.
Well, now that TripAdvisor is a thing, we can at least sort hotels by lowest first and then highest rated of the lowest prices. Yeah,
you can do some filtering. That has helped.
Unfortunately, we had some bad experiences before TripAdvisor, but we'll tell about those another time.
There's been some doozies. So you'll wanna follow in. I think our next video will probably be talking about a trip we took to British Columbia and Ottawa.
That was a good budget saver.
Really, we're going to go Ottawa, then British Columbia. We're going to do these in chronological order. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. Maybe even subscribe if you're not a subscriber. There's a button somewhere there. You can hit it, and you'll see me every Monday. Are you recording?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay. Hi, everyone. Eyes on the road. Feel like a new driver. You don't drive very much these days. This tank of gas lasted me like a month. So we were successful with the car jump starting. You have to put the... Well, this worked for us anyway. Don't take this as like real advice because I may be wrong. But on the car that's dead, you put both the battery post things on. And then on the car that is working, you put, I don't know, he did. No, well, I'm not sure. Never mind. Anyway.
Hold on. Let's start this again.